What happens when street rumors collide with paperwork, and one name ignites an entire internet firestorm? That's exactly where this story begins. Pooh Shiesty, a name already surrounded by controversy, is now being pulled into a new wave of accusations, and this time, Wack100 is right at the center of it. Social media is exploding, timelines are split, and fans are asking one dangerous question. Did leaked Snitch paperwork just turn a cold situation into a potential street-level problem? Sources online claim that after documents began circulating, tensions escalated fast. Allegedly, lines were crossed, words were exchanged, and suddenly Wack100 found himself trending for all the wrong reasons. No official statements, no court confirmations, just raw accusations, reactions, and speculation spreading faster than facts. And in hip-hop culture, perception can be just as powerful as proof. This isn't just about paperwork. It's about reputation. It's about how quickly narratives form, how loyalty gets tested, and how one accusation can rewrite someone's public image overnight. Fans are dissecting every post, every interview clip, and every silence, trying to figure out who's telling the truth and who's playing the internet game. But here's the real twist. In today's digital era, once a story like this gains momentum, there's no hitting pause. Whether the claims are true or not, the damage or the drama is already unfolding. And as this situation continues to develop, one thing is certain: this story is far from over. As the story spread across social media, one thing became clear almost immediately. This wasn't just another rumor that would disappear in 24 hours. The names involved were too big, the implications too serious, and the timing too sensitive. Pooh Shiesty, already dealing with legal weight and public scrutiny, was suddenly being connected to a new narrative, one that placed him in direct tension with Wack100, one of hip-hop's most outspoken and controversial figures. It all started with screenshots. As always, that's how these stories begin. Unverified paperwork began circulating in private group chats before leaking onto public platforms like X, Instagram, and YouTube. Fans claimed the documents suggested snitch behavior, a label that carries heavy consequences in street culture whether proven or not. Within hours, Wack100's name was attached to the paperwork in headlines, reaction videos, and viral captions. Almost immediately, theories followed. Some online commentators suggested the paperwork was old. Others argued it was being taken out of context. A few insisted it was fake. But in the middle of all that noise, another claim began to gain traction: that Pooh Shiesty was allegedly upset about Wack100 being linked to the narrative and may have responded in a way that escalated the situation. No proof, no recordings, just claims repeated enough times that they started sounding real to casual viewers. What made this situation even more explosive was Wack100's history. Known for inserting himself into industry drama, speaking openly on clubhouse rooms, podcasts, and social media, Wack100 has built a reputation for not backing down when his name is mentioned. Fans expected a response, and fast. Silence in situations like this often gets interpreted as guilt or strategy, depending on who's watching. Meanwhile, Pooh Shiesty's situation added another layer. Being incarcerated changes everything. He couldn't jump online to deny claims, clarify rumors, or control the narrative. That vacuum allowed speculation to run wild. Reaction channels filled the gap, each adding their own spin, sometimes blurring the line between reporting and storytelling. This is where perception began overtaking facts. Hip-hop history is full of examples where paperwork allegations, real or fabricated, permanently altered careers. Fans immediately began drawing comparisons to past cases, arguing in comment sections about what counts as snitching and what doesn't. Legal experts chimed in on podcasts, explaining how paperwork can be misunderstood. Street commentators pushed back, saying technicalities don't matter once the label sticks. And then there was the Wack100 factor. Some fans claimed Wack100 was being targeted unfairly, dragged into a situation he didn't create. Others argued that his past commentary on similar situations made him an easy target now. Screenshots of old interviews resurfaced. Old clips were reposted with new captions. Context was stripped away, replaced with outrage. At the same time, whispers about retaliation began circulating. Again, no evidence, just speculation. But in hip-hop culture, especially online, speculation alone is enough to create fear, clicks, and controversy. People began asking dangerous questions. Could this turn physical? Is this just internet talk? Or is something real brewing behind the scenes? That's when the narrative shifted from paperwork to potential consequences. Blogs started using words like targeted, warning, and pressure. These terms are powerful because they suggest movement without confirming action. They allow readers to imagine the worst while avoiding definitive claims. Reaction videos multiplied, some fueling fear, others urging calm, reminding viewers that nothing had been confirmed. Still, the damage was already happening. Fans chose sides. Pooh Shiesty supporters accused Wack100 of clout chasing. Wack100 supporters accused Shiesty's camp of deflecting heat. Neutral observers tried to slow things down, pointing out the lack of verified information. But online momentum doesn't care about balance. It feeds on emotion. Behind the scenes, industry insiders reportedly began paying attention. When names like these start trending together, labels, promoters, and platforms notice. Nobody wants violence attached to their brand. Nobody wants lawsuits. The industry has seen too many situations spiral out of control because rumors weren't checked early. And yet, no official statements came. That silence kept the story alive. Every hour without clarification became another hour for theories to grow. Every repost added credibility in the eyes of viewers who equate visibility with truth. Even those who didn't believe the allegations were still talking about them, and in the algorithm-driven world of social media, attention is everything. By the end of the first wave, the situation had evolved from leaked paperwork to a full-blown narrative. Pooh Shiesty allegedly reacting to Wack100's name being attached, Wack100 potentially preparing to respond, and the internet waiting for the next move like it was a chess match. But here's the real issue. Once a story reaches this point, walking it back becomes almost impossible. Even if the paperwork is debunked tomorrow, even if both sides deny everything, even if nothing ever happened beyond online chatter, the association remains. And as history has shown time and time again, in hip-hop culture, association alone can be enough to change how someone is viewed forever. By the time the dust settles, the question won't just be, was it true? It will be who controlled the narrative when it mattered most? And that's where this story takes an even deeper turn. As the conversation deepened, something important happened. The story stopped being about paperwork alone and started becoming about power, reputation, and who really controls narratives in hip-hop today. At this stage, facts almost didn't matter anymore. What mattered was perception, and perception was being shaped in real time by bloggers, reaction channels, and fan-driven speculation. One of the biggest shifts came when fans began analyzing silence itself. Wack100 hadn't immediately gone live. Pooh Shiesty, because of his situation, couldn't speak directly. That lack of direct communication created a vacuum, and the internet rushed to fill it. Every old clip of Wack100 was suddenly treated as a possible response. Every vague lyric from Pooh Shiesty's catalog was reinterpreted as a subliminal message. This is how narratives quietly become truth online. At the same time, industry commentators started warning that the situation was being blown out of proportion. Several pointed out how often paperwork leaks are weaponized in hip-hop, sometimes by rivals, sometimes by fans chasing chaos. Legal analysts explained that paperwork can reflect cooperation, testimony, or simply procedural details, and that not all documents mean what the streets assume they mean. But street logic and legal logic don't always align. For many fans, the question wasn't, is it real, but why is his name in it at all? That's where Wack100's history complicated everything. Because he's never been shy about commenting on other people's legal situations, critics argued that he couldn't expect immunity when the spotlight turned toward him. Supporters fired back, saying that commentary isn't the same as involvement and that dragging his name into alleged paperwork was reckless. Meanwhile, another theory began circulating that this entire situation may have been fueled by content culture itself. With reaction channels competing for clicks and speed, speculation was rewarded faster than verification. A single caption could spark thousands of comments. A misleading thumbnail could push a rumor into trending territory. In that environment, even responsible voices struggled to slow things down. Some creators tried reframing the discussion, reminding viewers that no official statements had been released and that no credible sources had confirmed the most serious claims. Others leaned into the drama, framing the situation as pressure, warnings, or energy shifting, using language that implied action without proving it. That language matters. Words like targeted and after suggest intent. Even when framed as allegations, repetition makes them feel real. By now, casual viewers entering the conversation assumed something major had already happened, even though no concrete event had been verified. Then came the psychological element. Fans began projecting motives. Some claimed Pooh Shiesty's camp would be frustrated by anyone attaching his name to Snitch allegations. Others claimed Wack100 would feel compelled to respond aggressively to protect his image. None of these claims were backed by evidence, but they made sense emotionally to audiences familiar with past industry conflicts. And emotion drives engagement. Behind the scenes, industry insiders reportedly started paying closer attention. Promoters, labels, and media platforms are hyper-aware of situations that could escalate. Even unproven rumors can cause bookings to be reconsidered, partnerships to pause, or content to be reviewed more carefully. The risk isn't just physical, it's financial. This is where things quietly become serious. Because even if no confrontation ever happens, the possibility of conflict changes behavior. People move differently. Conversations happen privately. Statements are carefully worded or intentionally delayed. Silence becomes strategy, not avoidance. And yet, the internet rarely allows patience. As days passed, fans began demanding a response. Comment sections filled with questions. Why hasn't Wack spoken? Why is nobody clearing this up? What's really going on? The longer the silence lasted, the more suspicion grew. In digital culture, silence often feels louder than denial. At the same time, a counter-narrative started forming. Some fans argued this was all manufactured chaos, a story inflated by algorithms, not reality. They pointed out how quickly the cycle moves. One leak, one headline, one reaction, and suddenly reputations are at stake. They weren't wrong. Hip-hop history is full of moments where allegations outlive the truth. Careers have been damaged not by facts, but by what people believed long enough for it to stick. That's why some voices urged caution, warning that attaching serious accusations to names without proof has real consequences. Still, the story kept evolving. Old rivalries were dragged into the discussion. Fans brought up unrelated beefs, past interviews, and long-settled disputes to support whichever narrative they favored. Context collapsed under the weight of confirmation bias. Everything became evidence, even when it wasn't. What's most telling is that neither side officially escalated the situation. No verified threats. No confirmed confrontations. No official accusations. Yet the tension felt real. That's the paradox of modern hip-hop drama. Stories can feel dangerous even when nothing has happened. The emotional impact exists independently of reality. And once a story reaches this level, even debunking it won't erase the impression it leaves behind. As of now, the situation exists in a strange limbo, not proven, not denied, but widely discussed. And in the attention economy, discussion itself becomes a form of damage. The real question moving forward isn't whether the allegations are true. It's whether anyone involved can fully escape the narrative now that it's been written by the internet. Because once a storyline reaches this scale, the ending rarely matters as much as the moment people chose what to believe. And that leads directly into the final, most important part of the story, what this situation actually means for hip-hop culture, accountability, and the future of how rumors are handled in the digital age. At this point, the situation had grown beyond the individuals involved. What started as leaked paperwork and online accusations had evolved into a case study of how modern hip-hop culture processes controversy. The names Pooh Shiesty and Wack100 became symbols in a much larger conversation about credibility, silence, and the cost of speculation in the digital era. One of the most uncomfortable truths to emerge from this moment is how quickly judgment now replaces investigation. In previous eras, rumors took time to spread. They were filtered through radio, magazines, and word of mouth. Today, a screenshot can circle the globe in minutes, gaining legitimacy simply because it's everywhere. Repetition becomes validation, even when verification never arrives. This is where the damage truly happens. For artists like Pooh Shiesty, already navigating the most vulnerable period of their public lives, rumors don't just affect perception, they affect futures. Label decisions, collaborations, and long-term branding are shaped by how an artist is talked about during moments like these. Even if the allegations are later dismissed, the memory lingers. The industry remembers headlines longer than corrections. Wack100, on the other hand, represents a different type of risk. As a public commentator and industry figure, his influence comes from visibility and opinion. But visibility cuts both ways. When someone spends years speaking on other people's situations, they become part of the ecosystem that thrives on conflict. That doesn't mean accusations are deserved, but it does mean they land harder. And yet, despite all the noise, something crucial never happened: confirmation. No verified documents were authenticated by credible sources. No official statements confirmed the most extreme claims. No direct confrontations were proven. The story existed almost entirely in the realm of suggestion, fueled by thumbnails, captions, and emotionally charged language. That should give everyone pause. Because if careers and reputations can be shaken without evidence, then no one is safe from the algorithm. The same system that amplifies voices can destroy them, not because the truth demands it, but because engagement rewards it. This moment also exposed a deeper tension within, and still, restraint was shown. Neither Pooh Shiesty's camp nor Wack100 publicly escalated the situation in a way that confirmed the worst fears. That restraint may be the most important part of this entire story. In a culture often criticized for reacting impulsively, restraint signals maturity, or at least awareness of the stakes. Because the stakes are high. Lives, freedom, careers, these aren't storylines. They're real. And when audiences forget that, content becomes detached from consequence. The line between reporting and entertainment blurs, and real people pay the price. This situation should force a hard question: are we consuming hip-hop drama responsibly, or are we rewarding chaos? Every click tells the algorithm what we want more of. Every share amplifies a narrative, whether it's true or not. And every reaction video, even one meant to break things down, contributes to the life cycle of a rumor. That doesn't mean discussions should stop. It means they should evolve. Hip-hop has always thrived on debate, storytelling, and truth-telling. But truth requires patience. It requires context. And sometimes, it requires admitting that we don't know enough yet. If there's any lesson in this moment, it's this: silence isn't always guilt. Viral doesn't mean verified. And allegations aren't reality. As the dust settles, this story will eventually fade, replaced by the next headline, the next rumor, the next clip. But the impact will remain, shaping how artists move, how commentators speak, and how audiences engage. The question isn't who won this moment. The real question is whether hip-hop culture can slow down enough to protect itself from becoming its own worst enemy. Because if narratives continue to be built on speculation rather than truth, the damage won't stop with one story. It will become the standard. And once that happens, everyone loses. If you've made it this far, you already know the story is bigger than just one headline. This isn't about picking sides, it's about understanding how fast narratives can turn into judgment in hip-hop, and how dangerous that can be when facts are still unclear. So now it's your turn. Do you think this situation was blown out of proportion by the internet? Or do you believe there's more happening behind the scenes that we haven't seen yet? Drop your thoughts in the comments, but keep it real and respectful. This is one of those conversations where perspective matters more than noise. If you've been around hip-hop long enough, you know how quickly rumors can rewrite someone's story. If you appreciate deep breakdowns instead of clickbait, make sure you hit that like button. It tells the algorithm you want more real discussions like this. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel because we don't just chase headlines, we break down what they actually mean. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update, because if anything official comes out, statements, receipts, or real confirmation, you'll hear it here first. And finally, share this video with someone who always jumps to conclusions online. Let's start conversations that are informed, not reactionary. Hip-hop deserves better than rumors. And this community proves that real fans still care about the truth.